everybody. It's René Yvonne, the Gen Sexologist, and welcome. So this is September, and September is traditionally sex education or sexual health education month. So I've been getting a lot of different questions, and so I thought this month I'll just take the time to answer some of them. One of the questions I received this month was, what do you do when you're with a partner who has a smaller penis? And I think this is a great question because sometimes that happens, right? Everyone isn't a mandingo. We're not all, all guys aren't 14 inches long, although that sounds quite painful. But anyway, everyone isn't huge. And so sometimes we have to do some workarounds to work with someone of a smaller penis. Someone who has a smaller penis does not mean that they can't please you in the bed. It just means that you may have to try some different positions. So there's a couple things you can try. One is to get on top, and that way you can control what you as the female partner can do on top of this penis. That means you can get on top and just grind. And so you may not be doing the things that you do with a bigger penis, which is, come all the way up and go all the way back down. You may not be able to do that, but you can get on top and just kind of grind your pelvis against his penis. And you can often adjust yourself in a way that it hits your clitoris more. So there's a good thing about that. The second thing you can do is to lay on your back, lay on your stomach as if you're doing doggy style. So you lay on your stomach and then keep your legs closed and then let him enter you from behind that way. And so this way it creates more friction for the both of you, and you can feel more that way as opposed to doing it traditional doggy style, which may not work if he doesn't have a larger penis. And then last but not least, the other thing that you can do, you all know I love toys if you've been listening to me for any length of time. The other thing you can do is to have him enter you either missionary or doggy style or whatever, and use a vibrator like the Satisfier 3 Plus or the Starlet Womanizer. I've talked about these in some of my previous videos, and I'll put the link below so that you can purchase them from my store. But you can use a vibrator like that can be used between bodies so that you can stimulate yourself with the vibrator while he is performing intercourse. Now, also the thing you could do when someone has a smaller penis, because they probably know too, and they may be a little self-conscious about it, is to not worry about the intercourse and focus on the pleasure of it all. So that may mean that they are performing more oral sex with you. Maybe they are manually stimulating you with their fingers. Maybe they are using the toy on you. So you can think about doing things like that. And that way you're not so focused on the size of the penis, but you're focused more on the pleasure of the sexual act itself. So there you go. There's some tips to work with someone who has a smaller penis. Doesn't mean you just toss them away. You don't throw the whole guy away because of that, because there's a lot of joy that can be experienced with that person. If you have a question during Sexual Health Month, or any month for that matter, feel free to email me at Renee@thegensexologist.com. And I'd be happy to answer your question on a future YouTube blog video. In the meantime, have a great weekend, and I'll see you next week. Bye.